from the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel, this is a severe weather alert.
Well, good evening, everybody. Taylor Plott here, along with Fred Gosh, Sam Camp, and Chase Wilson, doing another update here. 9 o'clock. There's still not any tornado warnings issued across our area, but we still have a tornado watch that is in effect, and there is going to be an expansion to this. There will be a new watch that will be issued for parts of northern Alabama, and it could even creep into parts of southern Tennessee, east of our viewing area, talking about Shelbyville, Fayetteville, and the Winchester areas. But there will be a new tornado watch at some point here soon for parts of the Shoals down to Russellville, Moulton, Double Springs, Hamilton, Coleman, and even places down to the south, and even parts of northeastern Mississippi here, parts of Iuka as well. Let's go ahead and take links to and take a look at the radar right now. And again, it's really just... the line is just not that robust, and that's really good to see right now. We have more warnings still off to the north. That's where some barodynamic stuff is taking place up north of Parsons, getting up towards the Nashville metro area. But places down from Parsons, down into parts of Hardin County, and just to the east of Bolivar, and then down into parts of northeastern Mississippi, the line's just not really that robust. There has been a little bit of uptick in lightning, but it's kind of come and gone. And that's kind of one of the telltale signs leading to a stronger line would be how much lightning you end up getting. And there's not a lot of lightning across this line right here. Fred, let's go ahead and do a storm track and take a look and see when this line will eventually be moving into the Savannah area. It should be here relatively soon, probably within the hour or so. Let's take a look at some times here. So Blue Mountain about 9:05, Sulphur Springs about 9:06, Ripley about 9:07, and then getting up towards the Eastview area about 9:19, Stantonville about 9:23, and Crump at about 9:25. I don't really see Savannah in there. There's Savannah right there, about 9:30. So yeah, within the next 30 minutes or so, that's when that part of the line will start to move into the Savannah area, down towards Corinth as well at about 9:30, and then eventually down towards the Glen area at about 9:41. What you can expect with this line, even though it's not severe, you can still expect some gusty winds, probably on the order of 30 to 40 miles per hour. And like what we've talked about over the past couple of days, because we have such a saturated ground, it might not take that much of a wind gust to knock a tree down or a power line down and cause some issues out there. So it could be a 40 or 50 mile per hour wind gust, could give you some issues out there as opposed to a 60 or 70 mile per hour gust that you would usually see with a severe thunderstorm. So you could still get some wind damage out there with sub-severe winds. The other thing we're watching along the line are any kinks, any bowing segments, any what we call bookend vortexes. That's where you get that little comet head on the back side of any of the lines. That would be your tornado producing parts of the line. And we really aren't seeing too much of that. We've been watching it closely, and there have been little areas here and there which are definitely expected. We have enough wind shear in the air that you're going to get parts of the line that start to twist just a little bit, but there's just not enough oomph in the storms to actually get that to produce a tornado. But we're still watching things. We still got a lot of time to go before this is all said and done. So there's definitely a chance that we could be dealing with some tornado warnings here in the near future as we watch this line continue to move on off to the east. One of the other things that we're watching is off to the southeast. So Fred drew a line here. That's about 67 miles from that spot near Oxford to the state line. So that would get that part of that storm to the state line about 10:24. So between or close to 10:30-ish is when that part of the line should start to move into parts of Franklin and Colbert counties. Now this part over here, we did do a storm track on that. That will continue to move on off to the northeast and get to the northern parts of Hardin County and the parts of Wayne County at about 9:46. So that's kind of giving you a heads up how far that line is as it continues to track on off to the east. The other thing we're watching, this has definitely had my eye over the past several hours, is this supercell, this lone supercell that has continued to have a tornado warning on it for the majority of the night. That's kind of been the main show so far with this area of storms down here to the southwest. This is one that you're going to have to keep an eye on because it's still moving into a very favorable area. There's still a lot of instability to work with, still a lot of wind shear to work with. So if this supercell does continue to track and produce As far as I know, it hasn't produced a tornado, but could produce a tornado at any point. If it continues to stay at that strength, it could eventually get into the Tupelo area. And that's going to eventually get towards Fulton, and will eventually get to parts of northwestern Alabama here, probably somewhere between Russellville and Hamilton. I would actually probably say between Florence and Hamilton. If it continues to work its way, it should kind of continue to move its on off into that general direction. So that's one that we'll definitely have to keep an eye on. That would be your tornado-producing storm. Your more likely tornado-producing storm is that supercell. And as Fred's drawn there, it's about 112 miles to the state line on its current trajectory. And if it were to hold together, it would get to the state line probably close to that Red Bay area if it actually goes on that direct path at about 10:49. So probably between Florence and Hamilton, that's probably your best bet as the trajectory for this supercell to continue to move on off to the northeast. So again, we'll keep an eye on that, as that's kind of the big thing that we'll be watching on, not only with the line, but that supercell out ahead of it. But other than that, there's really not a lot going on. You got thunder, you got lightning, you've got some gusty winds for sure along this line, but we're kind of in this little bit of a lull phase potentially, where everything's happening off to the north, everything's happening off to the south, and everything in between is just not really doing too much. And that's really good to see. It's really good to see, and hopefully that does continue to be the case. Here's a look at the Lawrenceburg camera. Are we looking to the west? This is looking to the southwest. This is looking to the southwest. Temperature 64 degrees. That's warm enough. Dew point's at 61. That could cut it. Usually you want to see anything generally into the middle 60s, but 61, that could be enough to give us a severe threat here in the Lawrenceburg area. And it's possible that when you get that line to move through, that dew point kind of bumps up just a little bit right ahead of the line. That's kind of what you want to see, your dew point kind of on the lower threshold of things. 63 degrees dew point in Florence with the temperature of 69 degrees. Florence was in the 70s, or at least lower 70s earlier today, I do believe. The wind's coming out of the south-southwest at 12 miles per hour on the Arctic Air Skycam network. We'll continue to watch these. This is on the campus of the University of North Alabama. We'll continue to watch these cameras across the area as these storms continue to push on in, and try to see if there's anything going on underneath them, potentially tornadic-wise. It'll be hard to see during the night, but you could get some lightning to illuminate things. So again, here's that watch warning map, and we'll kind of leave you with this and get you back to the regular stream here. But again, no active warnings across our viewing area. Still got that tornado watch, and we'll eventually get a new tornado watch for parts of northern Alabama, parts of northeastern Mississippi. It'll even get issued further to the south. So we'll keep you posted on that. We'll give you the latest information when that gets issued. And we'll be back on here at 9:30 to give you the latest information. So I'm Taylor Plott for Fred Gossage, Sam Camp, and Chase Wilson. That's your severe weather update for your 9 p.m. We'll be back on here at 9:30 to give you the latest update on the latest.
You're watching the Tennessee Valley Weather Channel.